I am Supreme, and this is message number 27 of Astro Oracle Freestyles, where I do collective messages for the chosen. You will know when you are chosen because my messages will resonate with your soul. We are chosen because we are here to prove to the world that God, Spirit, and the universe is real. Your own energy, frequency, and vibration is real and is the only thing that's coming to save you. Okay? Being chosen is not a walk in the park. It is a blessing and it is a curse. It is a curse because we represent what happens to the human soul when we are not aligned. Okay? We represent all of the sicknesses, plagues, curses, like drama, chaos, darkness, the monstrous things that happen to people in darkness. We represent all of that because we're not aligned. Okay? It's not because the world is the way that it is. It's not because the government is the way that it is. It's not because the workforce is the way that it is. It's not because you can't find a job. And it's not because you didn't finish school. Okay? We are chosen because we're not aligned with the Creator. That is the example of being chosen. We have to represent the difference. But at the same time, the difference is also the redemption. Okay? So our redemption makes a difference because when we are making it in a world full of racism, government control, toxic government control at that, the abuse of authority, racism, all of these things, the chosen represent the example. A successful example. Your success makes a difference because people want to know, how are you succeeding when you look just like me? So I know you're going through what I'm going through, or you live in the same world as me, or you live in the same area as me, and you didn't even finish school, and you don't even make enough money. So how is all that people want to know? Because the Creator is moving through your life to set an example of a higher power. Okay, so being chosen is you represent that example. So you will always wonder, damn, why is everybody always worried about me? Because you're chosen. Everything that happens to you and for you makes a difference. So I'm going to pull 3 cards, and then that's going to open up a message for the chosen. All right. We have the staircase, we have the mirror, and then we have the slingshot. So the staircase, you know what the staircase is, right? Stairway to heaven, right? What is heaven? Heaven is the place in us where our signal has become so aligned and so clear. It's been straightened up like the antennas. We have such a clear signal, and our mind is such in the right place, and our emotions is lined up with where our mind is, and so is our words. So what that signal does is it does what God does. It manifests. And wherever you go, nothing but heaven will manifest. Heaven, harmony, okay, peace. That is a real place. And that place follows you everywhere you go. At work, at home, no matter what neighborhood you live in. Because that's what makes you chosen. Okay? Because sometimes we will be put in the darkest of neighborhoods. And when people will wonder, you so blessed. Why you live over there? Because you make a difference. You living over there in that area makes a difference. You working at that job makes a difference. Chosen people can be working at a place like McDonald's and still be successful out here in this world. And people will wonder, how are you successful working at McDonald's? Because the power that's at work in you has nothing to do with the powers that are of this world. The powers that are of this world is not of God. So, according to them, you working at McDonald's, they already got a picture of how your life looks on the outside. They said, well, we know you don't live in a good area. We know you can't afford this, and we know your life is like that. And we know they got it already figured out. But what they don't have is your life figured out. Because everything in your life is not what it looks like. Because you come from the spirit. Okay? So they could be looking at your situation of you working at McDonald's, and then they may find out where you live at, and you may live in an area of people that They figure, well, people that live in this type of area don't work at McDonald's. You must be retired, or you must get a check, or you must get this, or you must get that. No, because the way things work out in your life is different from the way things work out in other people's life. The people that live up the world, they have big houses, they live in nice places, they go on vacations because they work hard. They got money. We live in nice houses, we go on vacation, and we're able to do the things that they do, not because we have a job like them, but because our energy is pursued by people who need God. And we have God. If you are cooperating with God, you will live a life of celebration, harmony, and peace like God. Let me tell you something. God is living good in his own creation. And I say his because the creative principle is masculine. So it's okay to call God him. Nature is feminine, but God, the creator, is masculine. Okay? So when God and nature work together, it creates everything that you see in this world. Okay? So living a life that is aligned with your higher power, you will live a good life, not because of the things that other people have to do to live that type of way. Your good life is actually through connection. You are connected to everybody. You are really enjoying that good life. It's not an image. People, people really like you. People really fuck with you. Like, people really look out for you. And you're not doing anything outside of your character, or outside of your integrity to get this type of attention. All the work that you are doing is from within. All you're doing is keeping a clear energy, keeping a healthy vibration, a high vibration, healthy vibration. People get healed being around you. So, of course, you will always get invited to the celebration. You will always get invited to be the company for people because your energy is necessary. It makes a difference. And the only one that can fuck that up is you. Whereas we have enemies out here, or people who don't understand what it means to be chosen. They think it's because, oh, you're just so special. And you're just so that they think that we're not doing any work. It's not that. We are doing work. We're doing the work that everybody's supposed to be doing, but everybody's not doing that. Okay. So this is why the staircase comes out, because you needed to understand what I just explained to you, because you're on this staircase to heaven. Okay. It is a stairway and you take it one step at a time, but these steps have nothing to do with the world. Remember in church when we were young, they always say your steps are ordered. This is the staircase. Your steps were ordered and ordained by the universe. You are aligned to represent how God works. The mirror, you got to understand that life is a mirror. Not everybody wants to look at themselves. Life is a mirror. Okay. When you look at what you are going through in your life, what you are looking at is the mirror. Don't be afraid to look at yourself, because you will start to see what needs to be changed. If you don't like the relationships that you keep getting yourself involved in, or the areas that you keep being a victim of, or the situations or circumstances that you keep going through, it's time for you to change. But you're fighting the mirror. You're trying to change it from the outside. You can't do that. You say, well, no, I need to get a better job, or I need to get more money. No, you need to get a higher vibration, because a higher vibration will manifest a higher way of living, higher living situations, much more peaceful living situations, much more harmonious living situations. Okay. That doesn't require more money. It requires a higher vibration. Okay? Because no matter where you live at, when you have a low vibration, you will always manifest low vibrational situations and circumstances. It follows you because God lives in you, not outside of you. So the mirror is in you, and everything that is surrounding you in your life is the mirror, the projection. And a lot of people don't want to look at that. You don't want to look at yourself. So we run to the workforce. We run to the world for them to help us change our situation. We run the church. We run to somebody who we believe is going to come back and make life better, when we don't realize the only person coming back is the man in the mirror. That's you. And you got to get you right. Once you get you right, you will discover the secret of manifestation. You will also discover the source of everybody's situation and circumstance and their problems. But a lot of people got to discover the same thing you discovered on their own. Only thing you can do is live by example. But a lot of people are going to still run like you did to every place but the mirror, because they don't want to look at themselves. They don't believe that they need to change. They don't believe that they're going through what they're going through because of who they are. People don't believe in themselves because we were forced to believe in somebody outside of us. So that spell that we're under has to be broken. That is the ghost spell, the gospel. That's a whole nother reading and video though. The slingshot. When the slingshot comes out, this is somebody that you don't feel worthy of protecting yourself from what you are up against. You're being attacked. Okay? And it seems like life is caving in on you. You feel surrounded by a lot of giant situations that you don't have a way out of. You know, a giant situation can be bad credit, you know, and you can't get out of your situation because your credit is fucked up. Your bad credit is a giant, okay? Or you may be facing a sickness or an illness, you know, that really has no hope for your future. That is a giant. The government is a giant, okay? The religious system is a giant, okay? Racism is a giant. Okay. The human condition, period, is a giant, and it's not easy. And here you are feeling closed in by all these giants, and you feel like there's no way I'm going to make it in this world, you know, because I'm just not enough. You know, I don't have the fact that you didn't finish school, you don't have an education. That's a giant. And that giant will scare you to say, where you going? You don't even have a diploma. You don't even have you didn't go to college. You don't have no type of degree or anything. Okay. But what you do have is you have some gifts, you have some talents, you have some abilities, and you have some skills. And it may be your skills may represent a little rock designed for a little slingshot. This always brings me back to the story of David and Goliath in the Bible. You don't have to be Christian to understand the story of David and Goliath and to see that story play out in everyone's affairs in life. David was up against Goliath, who was the giant. Just like you're up against all these giants that I just explained to you. And David only had a slingshot. Could you imagine how the giant and his army looked at David when he pulled out that slingshot? They figured, what you gonna do with that? Where you going with that, David? That's how your giant is looking at you. That's how your future is looking at you. The future that you think the only way you can get there is through what the world looks for, what the government looks for, what the educational system looks for. You don't even feel like you're going to make it to heaven because you don't even have what Jesus Christ looks for. All of these are giants. They're not real. The only thing real is that little rock you got, that little faith, that gift. That's real. That skill you got is real. Your nature is real. What you know how to do is real. Okay? And that is your power to attack all these giants. So you take that skill that you got and you put it in that slingshot like David did. And when he pulled that slingshot back and let it go, it destroyed Goliath and the army. And that is why the slingshot came out for you. Because this is telling you that you got to put all of you, whatever you are, whatever you know how to do, put all of you, no matter how little you think it is, no matter how little you think you are, put all of you in that slingshot and pull it back and watch. When you let it go, once you have faith, you got to let go. Just let go. And it's going to be all right. Watch how all of you, when you develop all of you right where you are, it's going to destroy every giant that you've ever been afraid of. And the universe is going to show you. That is going to be your way of understanding that God is real. And once you see it, you're never going to unsee it. You can't unsee it. Once you see God, you cannot unsee God. And everything is uphill from there. You've made it to heaven because now you can see God. And that's why this slingshot came out. And that's going to be my message for you today. That's message number 27. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you'll be notified when I drop my collective messages. Also, I'm building a new channel, Astro Oracle Navigations. I have another channel, Astro Oracle Investigations. A lot of y'all that are subscribed to this channel, Freestyles, is also subscribed to my other channel, Astro Oracle Investigations. If not, it's in the link below. Please go over there and like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button on Astro Oracle Investigations. But I'm getting ready to drop my first video on my new channel, Astro Oracle Navigations. Okay, where that is a place where I will be doing general collective readings on everyone, all energies, not just the chosen. On this side of my channel, I do messages on the chosen. Okay, people that are moving in the spirit. Okay, we cannot move in the physical anymore. This side of my channel is for those of us who need to understand how to move in the spirit. Astro Oracle Navigations is going to be for all people, whether they're moving in the spirit or still moving in their flesh or still moving in the physical world, because they need guidance too. But the ultimate is for us to learn how to move in the spirit. The reason why you're chosen is because you're here to move in the spirit. You've been moving in the spirit ever since you were born because you were chosen. You kept trying to move in the physical like everybody else. That's why you felt different, because you were not purpose. You were not designed to move in the physical. You may look like everybody else, but you are different, and people know it. They knew it before you knew it. Now it's time for you to accept it and love yourself. And that's why I do freestyles. But head over to my other channel, Astro Oracle Navigations, so that way you will understand how to move also in the physical. You'll enjoy those readings. You'll definitely enjoy those readings. They're collective readings, okay? I pull from all the energies, frequencies, and vibrations in existence. Every reading is an accurate reading. You just got to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So I'll be looking forward to y'all on the other side of my channel, okay? Y'all be blessed.